Yo, what's up, ladies and gentle filmmakers, and welcome back to another episode of From Static to Cinematic. Today is a wonderful day because we're going to be stripping down a podcast set and turning it into a prison cell. The reason for this is because as an independent filmmaker, you don't always get the permission or clearance to shoot in certain establishments. Or even if you do get it, it's too expensive to shoot there. So does this mean you give up on shooting your film and go write something cheaper to shoot? Hell nah. But you do go out and find a cheaper way to shoot the very same scene. So that's why in this episode I'll be showing you a low budget way to create your own prison cell if you aren't able to shoot in a real one. Let's go. So the first thing I did was to find a room that would work best for building a prison cell. And to keep the cost of this low, I had to use a room that I already have free access to. So I chose to use our podcasting studio, but you can use any room because after all, a prison cell is just a room. The next thing I had to figure out was how the structure of this prison cell was going to look. I wanted to show two sides of the prison cell, inside where the prisoner sleeps and outside the prison cell where there's a passage. So after brainstorming this with my director, we decided that we're going to put the gate parallel to the two walls, but a bit closer to the wall on the left side of the room, which will separate the room into a passage on one side and a bigger space on the other side for the inside of the prison cell. This would then allow us to shoot from the open side of the podcast set, which would be the fourth wall in a closed room. The next thing I had to figure out was what would be the cheapest solution for a prison gate, because building one out of steel or buying one was going to be too expensive. So I decided to build one out of wood instead. It wasn't the best gate I've ever seen. I mean, this thing was far from straight, but we had put in so much work and efforts behind this thing, it just had to work. Once the gate was installed, I was quite relieved because even though we took measurements beforehand, I really didn't think it was going to fit. So now it started looking like what we are going for. But it wasn't all the way looking like a prison cell yet. We still needed to make the walls look the same and to make the gate look like it's made of steel. So now it was time to paint. We needed to get paint to paint the two walls on the side of the room to look like the wall in the middle, and to paint the gate to make it look like metal.
It's better than like.
And when we do this, I get it, we've already edited this.
This one smells like chocolate, like it smells edible.
Yes, actually, it smells like chocolate.
It's like almond.
Yeah. It smells nice.
I think you're hungry.
Almond nuts.
I think you're hungry. Nah.
It does. Some kind of chocolate. Chocolate.
So after we bought the paint, we got word from the studio owner that he's not going to allow us to paint the walls. So we needed to find a way around this because we needed to get all the three walls to look the same so that it looks like one environment. So this is why it's important to have different people handling different things in a film set, because my production designer Tiamo came up with a plan to paint cardboards instead and then stick them to the wall. And then on the other wall, because we still had a lot of wood left from making the gate, we put two wooden boards against the wall and painted them. And as a final touch, my brilliant director Tiamo, yes, I know we have two Tiamos in the crew. One is a lady, Tiamo, and she's our production designer. The other one is a gent, Tiamo again, and he's our director. So Tiamo, the director, remembered that in every prison cell, there's always nasty graffiti on the wall. So he started scribbling some nasty stuff on the walls and it just looked like a prison, like we were selling it now, like we are in it now. So to make sure that our sets can actually pass as a prison cell, we had to get everything that a prison cell would have. So that's a toilet, a sink, and a bed. I had to keep production costs of this project as low as possible. So instead of going out and buying a toilet seat and sink, I was gonna make them out of cardboard. As you can see, filmmaking is not all glitz and glam. Gotta dig for some supplies, you know. Budget is tight. So wood and cardboard are gonna be your best friend a lot of the time when you need cheap film props. So I remember that my friend's mom used to be into arts and crafts, so I knew that we would need her expertise in this. And because she already had a lot of material and cardboard that we were gonna use to make the toilets and sink, she suggested that we go out and buy silver spray paint to make the toilets look like metal. Prison bars can look like this, eh?
Yeah.
They can look like this.
Let's see.
And how much is the box wholesale?
1700. 1700.
So once we finished building the props, I honestly thought it was time to start spray painting them because that was the part I was looking forward to. But there was a reason I came to my mom's friend for help with this, because mama always knows best. So she advised us that in order for the silver spray paint to stick to the cardboard, we need to first paint it black. So because we didn't buy black spray paint, we had to stick black papers on the toilet seat and sink and then paint it silver to make it look like metal. So now it's the day of the shoot. We had to go find props early in the morning. So we went to a hardware shop, but we couldn't find the right orange jumpsuits for the prisoner because we wanted one without those silver reflectors that the construction guys wear. We ended up finding one in the streets of Alex, Johannesburg. So Ukabelo, the guy who's playing our prison warden, because he already had black pants, black shoes, a white shirt and a cap, the only thing we had to get for his outfit were handcuffs, and we got those at a toy shop. We actually used a door for our prison bed. We put stands under it and then we covered it with the blankets we got from Pep. Prison blankets.
Washa.
Actually, man.
Washa. Ay, Washa.
And the final touch of our set design were the little items we put on the shelf that represent the prisoner's life. The lighting for this prison scene was pretty much simple and straightforward. So our setup was that we were going to have two lights, one on the ceiling inside the cell and another one also on the ceiling on the side of the passage, both facing down like a light bulb would. And then lastly, we had one light facing just the side of the passage, coming in from the open side of the podcast set where our fourth wall would be. The initial purpose of this light was a creative decision. We wanted to have the passage be more lit than the inside of the prison cell. This was to show that the people on the outside of the cell, on the side of the passage, are in a more better place than the prisoner who's in a more darker place. But then the light ended up serving as a nice fill light that adds a bit more light to the entire set, because without it, the set just seemed a bit too dark for my liking. So for myself and my director, it was important that the camera moves while our character stays still to show that he has come to peace with the situation and couldn't be bothered by anything that's happening out there or anyone passing by his cell, really. And which makes sense because in the story, he has already accepted his fate. The final camera angle was just so out of the box because we deliberately broke the fourth wall and made it obvious that there isn't one by putting the camera right between the two characters where the wall cuts between them. This camera angle was to just emphasize that the two characters are in two different worlds. Okay guys, so I hope you enjoyed that because we had fun shooting this, and you can head over to our productions channel or click on the link below to see how the final scene came out. But anyways, I might catch y'all in the next episode.